Hello, Kansas and Western fans. It's time for episode number 13 of the construction of the Kansas and Western HO scale railroad. We'll do another overview of the room for those that may be new to the channel. And then we will start with a linear path just like last time, which I liked. Helped me keep things straight, make sure I didn't miss anything. Starting over here at the west helix, it is done. It went quickly. Especially once you have all the pieces cut in advance, it definitely goes together a lot quicker. The only thing I have left to do is to tie it into the middle level, which you see I have that bench work all done. Actually ran out of materials, otherwise there'd be a top on this part. The local Menards seems to be out of the kind of plywood that I like. But this other control panel is in and it's functional. I chose not to do an operational video this time where I tested the staging tracks and all the switches. Just because I thought the last one was kind of boring, running a train back and forth up and down the tracks. So I didn't do that this time, but I will do a test run up the helix once I have it tied into this middle level here. So we will get to see that. But all these turnouts are working, the control panel's working. I've got all the toggle switches for the block controls for power working. That is all done, otherwise I wouldn't have put this top on. So that's exciting. Middle level is almost done. You can see it wraps around here, and then again, this level, this whole area here, all the way down the wall and even around the corner. I was going to do a stone quarry down at that end, but I think I'm going to get rid of that in favor of just doing one big section of scenic track from Canon City, which will be down here, around the corner, all the way down to what I'm calling Tennessee Pass, but it's not even close. But I just had to have a name, and that's what it's going to be. But this whole area down here is going to have the Arkansas River in the foreground, tracks in mid-ground, and then scenic mountains and so on and so forth in the backdrop. So that's what this is going to be, just the big rail fanning area. Then we'll wrap around, enter the west side of Canon City here. There'll be a train station which will run excursions for the Royal Gorge route in and out of the area behind me, as well as have a couple small industries that I haven't determined yet. And then wrapping around here, again, will be the Portland cement plant, which will probably stick out here a little bit. I haven't decided how much yet. I need to start construction on it so I get a good idea for how much space it's going to take. Probably have the main line wrap around underneath one of the conveyor belts, just for a little bit more interaction there instead of just main line standing by itself, but we'll see. And then wrapping around the rest of the middle level here, this will be Pueblo. I've got a little bit of lighting installed, a single strip, which does eliminate some of the shadow, but I have to put the other strip because similar to this level here, I'm doing dual strips, which I think lights this very well. Just haven't gotten it put in yet. Now here we've reached La Junta Yard. This is the west end here. This would be a locomotive servicing facility, probably some rail car repair shop here. And then I've got all the track laid out for it. I've started installing the track at the other end there. I've got most of the yard, the turnouts added at that end. I'm going to do some test running here before I glue anything down, just to make sure that this is a workable design, because again, I'm not really going to have a switch lead at this end because I don't want it to run into Pueblo. I plan to hide the main line here with either trees, hills, something, so that from that area there, it kind of just disappears. And then an operator working Pueblo here can look to the right and just see the main line appear. I'm trying to separate these scenes, which I kind of mentioned in my last video, so it all just doesn't run together. Anyway, moving down here, I've got the main line in the back, an arrival departure track next to that, 5 body tracks, and then these last 2 will be a runaround track and then just access for locomotives to get to either end of the yard. Again, this is going to be a stub end yard because I'm not going to have room for a switch lead down there anyway, so all the yard switching has to be done from this end. And these 2 tracks by themselves here, this back one here is going to be a maintenance of way yard with ties, maintenance of way equipment, rails, that whole kind of thing. And then this front track here is going to be a transload dock. Moving around, I've got part of the switch lead installed. I'm going to carry it around to right about the end of this foam that I'm not going to glue. So again, really short. Whoever switches the yard is just going to have to do some math to figure out how many cars they can pull and move on. Wrapping around here, we enter Lamar. My locomotive arrived for this park display. It's similar to that right there. Unfortunately, had a bit of an accident. As soon as I took it out of the box, I dropped it on the concrete floor. So unfortunately, the pilot broke off. Right now, I'm calling it vandalism. So we'll have to try to repair that at some point, but it was a display piece anyway, so I'm not too torn up about it. But I do need to get that fixed and then get it painted up similar to the one that sits over by the Lamar train station. So gentlemen, be careful with your stuff. Moving on. Lamar, I still haven't got any structures here because I'm just struggling. I've never kit bashed something to this degree before, but I have decided what I'm going to do is this part of the grain elevator here, this whole facility, this part, it faces the tracks in reality. So I'm trying to generate what this is going to look like out of parts. And I think what I'm going to do is have to use PVC because there's just not room to do a whole elevator kit between the third track, which is definitely necessary, and the backdrop. So I think I finally decided on that. So it's just a matter of getting some PVC cut and put in place to see how that's going to work. But I do believe I have the track plan more or less settled on based on space issues. So it's going to be primarily 3 tracks with a couple of spurs. That warehouse that I mentioned, distribution plant, will sit back here with a couple silos. And then grain elevator here, which will just service a couple cars, and get some grain bins to put down here in this corner where I'm going to have the backdrop separate the Holly and Lamar scenes and help blend that in. Anyway, moving around to Holly. Haven't done much here, focusing on other areas, except what I have done is I've laid a little bit of ballast, just see if I remember how to do it. Plus I wanted to test how the weathering looked on the ties. And you can see the weathering kind of blends in with the ballast. I did learn that I bought the wrong kind of spray bottle to do the pre-treatment, the pre-soak. And that's why the ballast looks kind of messed up because it sprayed out in a jet instead of a mist. And so got to replace that spray bottle. But that's why I did this test section here, because this whole triangular area is going to be hidden from view. Because this is where it goes into the helix. We obviously want to hide that. So that's why this is a good test area for weathering and ballast, because you're not going to be able to see it anyway. Probably won't be able to see anything till right about this area where it transitions onto the primary bench work. And then I'll have fascia that'll cover up this transition here. And then the fascia will probably elevate with some curvature to blend in some type of a hill cut or something to hide the track as it proceeds into the helix. Moving up, we have the Holcomb power plant area and then Garden City. Haven't laid any track up here yet because I wanted to make sure I could acquire enough code 83 turnouts, which is what I'm running on my main line. And as you can see, I have. So that's good. We'll start laying track on that up here for the next video. Wrapping around, bought my first trees. I can't remember who I bought them from, but somebody was running a good Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, so I thought I'd give it a try because they were like 50% off. And I learned I don't like them because they look very fake. I think I can make some adjustments by using some scissors to nip them here and there, just so they're not so perfectly rounded. But I've definitely seen lots of better trees, so I probably won't buy those ever again. Moving down, this is Charleston. This is probably the only real structure I've started work on. And I'm trying to generate this portion of the grain elevator here. And I've built all the silos. I just have to build the primary silo here with the head house. And that'll go right there. I just wanted to lay out track and cars to see how it would look. And I'll be really happy with that. So this will be the only feature on this whole long run, where this is going to represent basically Western Kansas. Not much to see, just a couple of tracks and a single grain elevator. I'll probably have a little house, because you can see this is probably like a little co-op office next door. And then there's a little house onto the right off this picture here. I'll probably add just to kind of reproduce the scene close to the prototype. And then moving around, haven't gotten anything else done up here. That's going to be an Arkansas River crossing, or Arkansas for Kansas. And then the start of the Wichita industrial area. I've almost run out of code 70 tracks, so I'll be getting some more of that. And then just the Wichita yard. So what I'm hoping is I can find materials so I can finish the middle level. But as you can see, getting very close to being done with bench work. Very exciting. Hoping to be done with bench work by the middle of January. I think that's achievable because I really just have to do the plywood for the middle level there, add the upper level back away from where the Wichita yard ends at that wall and around that wall to where it connects up to here, and then the topper on the helix for the El Dorado refinery, and then the shelf along this wall for the Union Tank Car Company. So going fast. Started this in August and very happy with the progress. It's going well. I'm very excited. I appreciate everybody's comments and support. And if you have any more questions, send them my way and I'll do what I can. Thanks for watching.